All right, here's the big test. Everybody wants to know what live view is better. We're out here on the water, real world testing. We're out here at Smith Mountain Lake. It is in the middle of summertime. There's jet skis going everywhere. But I've got the Lowrance active target and the Garmin Livescope on my boat right here. Just to give you the quick setup, I've got a Lowrance Live 12, got the new active target on there and installed. Both of the transducers I will show you here in a few minutes. They're kind of stacked above each other. You can't use them both at the same time. There's a lot of interference, which I will show you shortly, between the two, and I think it's because they're in the same plane of view. If I could separate them a little bit more by a couple feet, I don't think there would be any issues, but because they're seeing the same plane, there's a lot of interference that shoots across the screen, and it's really annoying. So I have completely unhooked my Garmin for the time being so you can see this active target. And I'm gonna go in here so we can see this later. I'm gonna go in right here and record some video for you so that you can see what we're looking at. As you can see back behind me, we're here to water. This is the water intake here. And I did this so that you could visually see kind of how far things were and then what you can see on the screen. So as you're looking right now, on the screen right now is that main buoy right there. And as you can see on the screen, you can see everything all the way down to the bottom where it gets bigger, and it almost looks like there's two ropes. There's one rope and another one kind of comes off. There is a fish right there near the surface that's kind of hanging out around it. I have never fished near these buoys. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But I'm just saying, this one right here is real close. I'm gonna move over to be able to scan, and there it is right there. There's something standing right there near it. Now I finally got it in the view there. And from what I've seen, I'm very familiar with the Garmin Livescope. I ran that all year. I'm new to the active target. This is new to me. There's one difference between the two. The active target has an 18 degree cone angle, a little bit narrower. The Garmin is a 20 degree. If you're only 20, 30 feet away, it's not as big of a deal. If you're 80 to 100 feet away, that really amplifies. It really gets a lot wider. So I would almost expect the active target to be a little clearer at further distance, but let's look at this to see. I've got this screen run out to 100 feet. And as you can see, like right in there, that's at 90 feet. I'm looking at the bottom of that buoy right over there. I'm looking at the bottom of it, and you can see there's something hanging. I don't think that's fish because it's not moving. It's very stationary. The boat's slowly spinning, so I'm kind of getting it out of the focus. But you can see there's the buoy right there, and fish. I mean, like, that's 95 feet away. This is 55 feet away. There's a ball of bait fish, and then there's the buoy line. But if you look way out here at 100 feet, you can see some detail in the cord. That's 90 feet out there. I can see all the way, that buoy line all the way to the bottom. And there's a fish right over there at 90 feet, near that, and you see he's moving, going back down towards the bottom. That is pretty strong detail right there. That's pretty strong detail. But I'm gonna go, and just so you know, on the Garmin Livescope, when you pause the view, it does not completely cut off the sonar signal. It does not completely cut off that sonar signal because it was still getting interference when I just paused the screen. But on the Lowrance, you can hit stop sonar and it actually cuts off the transducer from pinging, so it does not ping anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop recording on my Lowrance, and then I'm gonna turn around and hook up my Garmin so you can get a view. While we're right here, we're gonna look at the same thing and see what the difference looks like. All right, here we are. We're basically in the same type area. I gotta move back up a little bit to get to where we were. Now this is the Garmin. We're apples to apples. We're at 100 feet. And you can see that we're not picking up as much on the buoy line. See, like, there's a real faint buoy line right there. That's the one right over there. It's about 60 feet away. We're gonna move. There's a little bit out at 90 feet. That's the base that we were looking at on that other one. But it doesn't look as clear way out there. And then there's the buoy line out 80 feet. There it is. You can see it's a little more faint. I could probably adjust this and try to get it a little more dialed in. But then we're gonna scan around real slowly over here. And then here's the buoy line closer. There's the buoy line, there's the bait fish. There's more bait fish right down there. You can see kind of the base of that buoy line. That's it, right? That's the buoy line right there. And it looks like a fish. Woo! Play, I don't want to pause it. That's it right there. And you can see there's some action down there. I don't know what that is. And then again, there's that buoy line out there, a little out over 60 feet away. That's that main one. And then, I mean, you can still see some real good definition way out there at 90 feet. I mean, that's still pretty strong, 85, 90 feet out. You know, that's what you're looking at. We were looking at the same thing on the active target, and there it is on the Livescope. So, you know, buoy lines and stuff around these buoy lines, not too shabby on either one, to be honest with you. I've played around with this, a lot more settings on the Garmin than on the Lowrance. So buoy line, I would tip my hat a little bit towards active target because I could see those cables a little bit better. I'd probably tip my hat towards active target, but that's only one test. We're gonna go do a test in a different area. Let's go look at some docks. How about you? Let's go do it. All right, so here we are. We went over here, found a little pocket. We got an isolated dock right here. It's kind of a tougher deal because we're about 60 feet away. We're in 30 feet of water, and we're gonna see if we can see anything from this distance. I've actually got both of the units on right now, so you'll see the interference I'm talking about if you look at either one. But if you come on up here and look at that Garmin, you can get a good look at that, and you can see right here, these are the pilings. These are some of the pilings right there. You can see them real faintly, and you can see some stuff. You can see, you know, some bait fish out here. You lose a little graininess up here. I mean, that's 80, 90 feet out. That's a long ways out. It's a little grainy right there, but then if you jump right down to the active target, you can see there's definitely, you know, those are the pilings right there. And you can see some, you know, some pretty good definition back up under there. I haven't seen any fish on there on either one. I mean, there's some pretty good definition right there by those poles up under that dock. There's definitely some trash under there. You know, you're not seeing that as much. They're not perfectly aligned, but you're not seeing as much of that on the Garmin as far as a little bit of cover under those pilings. So you can see the pilings there. You know, a little cover right there next to that piling. It's not too shabby, not too bad. You can still see, if you know what you're looking for, you can see it on both of them. You know, there's some bait fish out there suspended. You know, there it is right there on the Garmin. You know, so there's plenty of good fish. There's you know, and there's the same fish right here on this one. You see that? But you can see those waves that I'm talking about. So what we're gonna do right here is I'm just gonna go in and actually just stop this sonar. So now we can look up here and see it's totally cleared up. And now we're gonna look under there and see what we can really see. It clears up the picture, I'd say, a little bit. But you can see up under that dock, you know, you can see those poles if you're you know, looking closely. See more poles there. Not crystal clear, but you can definitely see them. Okay, so now we're gonna go in here, and the quick way is gonna be just to turn this bad boy off. I'll turn that off, and then I'm gonna go in here, go back in here, and start the sonar back up. Get the signal going back again, and you can look up under that dock there, and you can see all those pilings. You know, this is with the clean signal. You know, you can see all these. Someone's kind of scanning around. Look, there's a fish right there next to that one. You know, that's out there 50 feet. There's another fish. There's a couple fish up under there. I'm scanning around. I'm scanning left a little bit, looking at the other pilings. You can see that trash right there. The picture gets clearer on both when you cut the other one off. But that's some pretty strong definition along the bottom of those dock pilings, and we're still 40 to 50 feet off. Yeah, that's still a pretty good look. There's a little wad of them right there. I mean, that's pretty strong, to be honest with you. Pretty strong. They're both very good, but that's pretty strong on the side of the active target. I'm pleasantly surprised here so far. And there's some bait fish up higher. That's good to see. And we're getting closer. We're drifting closer, so now we're 30 feet. So the picture is going to get a little bit clearer, but you can see pretty much all the way to the bank. That's good. All right, round two. The isolated dock. Might have to give the nod to the active target there. Pretty impressed, but it's almost to be expected, like I said at the beginning, because the cone is a little bit narrower on the active target. So you're probably going to get a little better detail. If you're scanning around trying to find cover, either one are going to be very good. I've been very pleased with the Garmin this year, so I'm not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. But we're going to go try another test. We're going to test something else. I'm going to go find a brush pile. We'll go look at a brush pile and see if we can see fish, see what kind of real definition we can find on those on that brush pile. All right, here we are. We found us some brush out here. We have a dock with brush in front of it, and then we have standing timber out in the middle. So we found you a little bonus feature to look at. Bonus feature. So we're going to drop down here. We're going to start off with the Lowrance. Start down here. I've got the screen recording, which is what that red dot is. But if you look right here, I'm gonna scan around, and there's your dock. Look, you can see fish under that dock right there. See, those are the poles. You can fish under the dock, and there's a little bit of brush right there in front of it. I'm gonna scan a little bit around with the trolling motor, and you can see there's a little brush right there, and there's some brush right there. You see that? That's what that is. And we're gonna scan around a little bit more. It looks like there's a fish up in the top of that piece. Look at that, that's pretty clear. And then we're gonna scan around out towards the middle, like I told you before, and check this out. There's some bait fish, and look at that. There's some standing timber out there. Very cool. I'm gonna play around with this while I'm right here. I'm gonna bump up the contrast a little bit, see if I can see more. The glare is pretty bad. There's that standing timber out there in the middle. The stuff that's closer to the boat, I'm gonna be honest with you, probably won't see it as well on the active target because the Garmin transducer is right under it. But that's, you know, there's the standing timber out there. I mean, there's a bunch of it right out there. And then we're gonna go back around to the dock again. And there's brush right there. And we're gonna go back around to the poles. And you can see there's some fish up under that dock right there. Pretty clean view. You can see that one moving. You can see that brush. Look, a fish just shot out of there. That's just right over there. If you pan right over there to that dock, you can see that's how far we are. That's how far we are. So we're not right on top of it. That's a good little ways over there. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll get in here, stop the recording, stop that sonar on the Lowrance. Now we're gonna cut the Garmin on, see what that looks like. We're gonna try to stay in the same spot, be fair about it. All three of these units are pretty quick to load on startup. So, you know, I don't know if you remember, but years ago, man, some of these units, they would take like 30 seconds to a minute to load up, and it seemed like an eternity. But yeah, the Garmin's already up, you know, right there. You can see a lot of that stuff up under the dock. There's the poles right there. And then there's, you know, that's some of that brush right there. It kind of looks a little cloudy, but we're gonna scan under there. You can see some of that detail. And then, you know, there's the brush. It's a little fuzzy looking, but you can definitely tell it's something there. I can't see the fish in it as easy. And then we're gonna scan around. Remember, that's where that other piece was. You can definitely see that there's some cover there. It's a big help. And then we're gonna scan on out in the middle. Some fish swimming up in the top of the water column. We're gonna scan on out to there to the middle. And then there's some of the standing timber. And I'm gonna go ahead and increase my gain a little bit so you see what I can see more of. See a little more of that standing timber there. That's a good ways out, man. I got it 100 feet out. So these fish up here closer, they're crystal clear. So we're gonna go back to the dock and look. And, it's still 50 feet out. You can see that pretty clear. I'm gonna bump us back up here. Just bear with me for a second. 63, 64. Again, I'm gonna go in here, play with these. I'm gonna just put noise to direct on low, see if we can. Seems like we're getting a lot of cloudiness. The water's not crystal clear. That's a big part of it. But yeah, there it is. You can see some of those fish under there if you know what you're looking for. There's a fish right there. That's definitely the fish right there. So it kind of gives you a good comparison from that view we saw on the active target. So there's, brush, docks, and some standing timber at a distance. I don't know which way to go here. I'm probably gonna go Lowrance, but you can see, once you kind of are able to dial in your settings a little bit, play with it, and know what you're looking for, you can see what you need to see on both of them. That's the bottom line. There are some advantages to being able to dial it in maybe a little bit more with the Garmin, but the Lowrance has been very impressive with me so far. So I think we got one more test to go, one more test, and we'll show you that here in just a second. So we'll pull the trolling motor up, make one more move, and see what we can check. One more test. All right, we got to finish up the test here on the comparison on the old bridge piling trick. So here we are. I'm gonna cut the recorder on so you can see that without any glare. But here we are, we're at the bridge. It is very deep, 50, 60 feet. And there is the bridge. Look at that, crystal clear. There's fish sitting right there. I'm gonna scan around. I mean, you can see every little facet of the bridge there. There's fish out there just to the left of the bridge. I'm gonna go in here and adjust the max depth, the downrange. I'm gonna adjust it to, let's say 40 feet, because that's all I care about. So I'm gonna look around this bridge. Look at that. Looks like old Crappy-thon right there. Down there about 10 feet deep, right on that bridge. That's pretty impressive, honestly. Scanning across the bridge. You can see the fish, crystal clear right there. Down about 16, 18 feet. Those could be bass, it could be crappie. I don't know what they are, but I mean, we're only 30 feet from them, so we should be seeing a good signal. That's pretty good though. I'll be honest. That's real good. You can see them right there, between here and the bridge piling right there. There they are, about 15 feet down. Now we're gonna switch over to the Garmin. And just to reiterate, you can go in here and cut those filters on and see really good and do. I'm telling, there's a bunch of different ways to see what you want to see on that Garmin. Don't feel locked into what I've got. If yours looks a little different, but I'm going to agree. And here we are, and there's the bridge. So we're looking right at the bridge. You can see the fish right there, 15, 18 feet. See them right there, and then we're going to do the comparable view. It's not as clean as the Lowrance one was. I wouldn't say, but we're going to go in here and change the auto depth to 40, which is what we had, I think, on the other one. And then we're going to scan across. Look at that. There's fish right there. There's bait fish up there. That's on the right side there. There's some bait fish out to the right of the bridge piling, out there about 15 feet of water. And then I'm scanning around. Look, they're right there. I mean, you can see the fish right there where you want them to be. And And that's the bridge piling right there. There they are, right out there to the right of the bridge piling. You can see them plain as day. You know, that kind of goes back to it's been kind of consistent. You can see both with both units. You can see what you need to see to know where the fish are, to know where the cover is. You can play with the settings and get your picture to look a little different on your Garmin. The active target, in my opinion, comes really dialed in, comes in a good spot. But you know, right here on the bridge piling, I'd call it an even match, because I could see, I felt like I could almost see more fish on the Garmin, but I mean, it was unbelievable detail. I'd really call it a draw between the bridge piling fish. It's just kind of crazy, but I want to show you let me show you the setup that we've been looking at. So I'm gonna just, while we're here, I'm gonna just pick up the trolling motor, show you the setup. Here's the two transducers that we've been using. There's the active target right here, and then there's the Garmin Livescope down there. They're at the same angles. They're almost on the same plane. This one is on their, you know, you can switch it around and do the Scout, similar to the perspective mount. I ran the Garmin all year. I've had it down here on the head to get it away from that 360, like I mentioned. But those are the two right there, and you know, you see how close they are, and they're on the same plane. They're running, I think, similar frequencies. So that's why we really need to cut one off when we're looking at the other one, so that we can get a good, clean, clear picture. But that's your comparison right there. The two, the active target and the Livescope, they're both pretty good. I mean, you saw the pictures. You can conclude for yourself which one you liked better or which one you thought was better. My short little 2 cents, whichever units you already have. If you already have Lowrance, get the active target. If you already have Garmin, it's a no-brainer, get the Livescope. If you have neither, then that's your own decision. You'd have to use this video to figure out which one you want for yourself. If you have any more questions or comments or anything that you want to say about what we talked about today, please drop it down there. We're going to be trying to bring you more content, and I'm going to try to leave this setup on here for about another month or so. If you have any more questions, I'll try to get out there and you know, make any adjustments, and you know, give both of them a fair shake, or anything else that I didn't try, we'll try to do that. And then we're going to get away from the road so we don't live like trolls for the rest of the day.